From gardening to animals to extreme renovations, welcome to Homesteading at College Hill Farm. Welcome back to College Hill Farm. Today we're bottling wine. Today we're going to bottle our wine. We consider wine a staple here on the homestead. We have made wine as long as we've been here. As a matter of fact, I've been making wine for about 12 or 13 years. So we make our own wine, and today I'm going to bottle plum and blackberry, but I'm just going to show you bottling the plum because you bottle it all the same way. So to get started, we use the big plastic water jugs because they're available, easy to get, we reuse them. So we use the big plastic water jugs, the 4-gallon ones, and what that gives us is about 18 750 milliliter bottles worth of wine. So what I've got here, I've got 20 equivalent bottles. You know, this size are 2 bottles worth. But this size is 1 bottle, and this size is 1 bottle, one 750 milliliter bottle. I think it says 750 milliliters right on the bottle. All these bottles were reused. Now, how do we start? Well, we start off with these bottles. They've all got labels on them when you start. So, into a 300-degree oven, all of these bottles go. We take the lids off, and we put those right into a 300-degree oven. What does that do? Well, it kills anything that's in there. And by the way, the minute we finish a bottle of wine, we rinse it out so that it doesn't have anything in the bottom of it that's going to stick. So that's what we do. The minute a bottle of wine's emptied, we run it in tap water and rinse that thing out so that it's going to be clean inside to begin with. Then you put it in a 300-degree oven, and you take it out with a pot holder, and the labels will peel just right off. And then you set them aside. Now, these went through, and after the labels peel off, then you wash them with a scrubby. You wait for them to cool down. You wash them with a scrubby and get any of that gooey residue left over. Then these bottles get set and wait. Then the day before, I put them back in a 300-degree oven because they've been washed out and had stuff put in them and the labels washed off. I put them back in a 300-degree oven till they come up to temperature. I take them out, let them cool, bring them down here into the pantry where I'm going to do the stuff. I put something over the top of them so nothing's going to be falling in them. Then I make up a solution of something called Camden. Now, Camden comes in little pills. You can buy it. This is just a little bottle. Looks like little aspirins. But Camden is actually something called sodium metabisulfite. And what it does when you put it in water, it gives you sulfur dioxide gas. Well, sulfur dioxide gas will oxidize or kill anything it comes in contact with. So, or any of the bad stuff that might come out in your wine. Maybe not, it won't kill everything. Might not kill a virus, but I don't know. I would say it'll oxidize pretty much anything. So what we do, we use 2 of these in a ½ gallon of water. So I'm going to start off by putting 2 of these down here. 1, 2. Then I take 2 spoons and I put 1 peel in there and squeeze it together, and that powders that peel. Here's another one, 2 of them, and that powders that peel. Then I take about a ½ gallon of water, and we use this spring water that we buy. The reason for that is I'm always assured that it doesn't have any chlorine in it. Chlorine in wine is bad. it'll make your wine taste like poo. So we start off by dissolving this sodium metethiosulfate in about a half gallon of water. And it doesn't foam or anything. Now, depending on what you're going to do with your wine, these little corks are called bar corks, and I'm going to show you what they look like. These little corks are called bar corks, and they just push right into your wine bottle by hand. You don't have to have an inserter. But if your wine is a little bit active, it's just a little bit active, you know, not all the yeast is dead, these will just pop out like nobody's business. They also have a tendency, you can only store your wine setting up, you can't store it on its side, and none of that. So I don't seldom use these unless it's wine that we're going to drink. Sometimes we'll make a batch of wine and he'll be ready right for the holidays, and we know we're going to drink 4 or 5 bottles as a family, so I'll do that and put them in the refrigerator with those bar corks and not waste these other corks. Now, these corks are number 9 corks. Now these bottles, again, they've all been washed, they've all been cleaned, they've all been sterilized, but that doesn't matter. I want them to want this sterilizing solution. So any of these that have a screw-on lid, and some of them do, this was an old Reuniti bottle. It's got a screw-on lid with a little plastic cap inside. That's just fine to store your wine in. Okay, don't be afraid to store your wine in something like that. I like these dark bottles because light doesn't get to your wine. So, but this cap needs to be sterilized. Boom. And sink it. Okay, and I'm going to get all the caps off and sink them. Get in there. Now there's only 3 of these that I'm using capped bottles for this time. So sometimes there's more, sometimes there's less. Okay, that one's sunk. Now that sodium metabisulfite, will work over the course of 24 hours. I'm not going to give it 24 hours. I'm going to give it about 3 hours to make sure it's good and dissolved in here. And there's plenty of sodium metabisulfite. But these came from a manufacturer. They've only been gotten out of the package once or twice. The minute the package is open, they're probably would be considered non-sterile. But for the most part, as far as wine goes, they're probably sterile enough, but I'm still going to put them in the Camden. So I had 3 bottles that, this is equal to 2 750 milliliter bottles. This one is 750 and this one's 750. So there's 4 equivalent. So I know that I've got 19 or 20 equivalent bottles here. Take out 4, that leaves you with 15. So I need 15 corks. So I'm going to take these 15 corks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There's my 15 corks. Now this takes a number 9 cork. Now I use synthetic corks because they're not as bad to soak up bad stuff, and they don't shrink. Once you've got them once you've got them in here, you don't have to worry about laying your wine on its side to keep the cork wet. They don't shrink. Okay, now these need to stay in there for about 3 hours, and then I'll come back and show you what to do. Our 3 hours are up. Our corks and things should have set good. I also mixed up a batch of a half gallon of sodium metethiosulfate sulfite, excuse me, sodium methosulfite, Camden, in this. And what I'm going to use this for is, while we have washed and heat sterilized these bottles and covered them, what if? So what I want to do is I want to use this, and that will sterilize the bottles. If there's any dust that got in there, it'll be washed out. So what we do is we make up a half gallon of this, and I put it in another big old wine bottle, and we just take and pour a little bit get in there into each wine bottle. Now, I wouldn't do this, wouldn't do all of these to begin with if I had some help. Like if one of my boys were here or something and we were doing this, we would do this part as we were decanting the wine. But since I'm all by myself today doing this, I will go ahead and do all of these bottles. And what happens is we take a bottle, and I use one of the bar corks. We take a bottle and we put the Camden solution in it. Then I put a cork in, and then I stir it around to make sure every surface inside the bottle gets that Camden, and then it goes right back into this. Now, if there's a little foam left in the bottle, it's all right. It's Camden. Have you ever heard of the phrase, you need to let your wine breathe when you first open it? Well, Camden is used as a sterilizer a lot of times in wine, period. So you let your wine breathe to let the sulfur dioxide come off, and it will come out of the solution in just a few minutes once it's been in a wine bottle. Okay, I'll go ahead and get all these run through, and then I'll come back to you. If you like this homesteading kind of stuff, be certain to log in and subscribe to us. If you click the little bell, it'll let you know when a video comes out. We upload videos every Sunday. And also go to the channel and be certain to check out the part 2 of this video.